Today I have kind of a new plane in an old suit, or an old suit in a new plane, because this is the Esky Eyas. Eyas. I don't know how to really pronounce this. I think that they call this model the Eagle, kind of before this version at least, so let's just call it an Eagle for now. As you can see, a really good design on this plane. Yellow, you have these checkers. And I have some things to say about this RCI plane because I had an interesting maiden flight. But let's go check out the flights then, and I'll talk more about what this plane actually is afterwards. Here's the maiden flight then. But as you can see, I don't have enough power with this prop to get this plane in the air, so I really have to find some solution. Now I have mounted a 3-bladed 6x3 prop. Now I have enough power to get this plane in the air. So let's see what it can do. It does pitch up pretty much. So just have to do some trimming then. It's not really enjoyable to fly a plane that pitches up too much. So let's get this plane down and just do some trimming and do another takeoff. But as far as just going around like this, I think it does okay. It's really noisy if you remember my opinions then about the Hobbyzone Aero Scout, which is more or less just exactly the same plane, except that this is nicer paint job. It's really noisy RCI planes. Of course, if you do like this almost idle throttle, just maybe 30-40%, it's kind of okay, but as long as you start pushing the throttle, it's really noisy. So let's just do a landing. Really easy just to glide this plane down and do some trimming then on the elevator just to have this plane flying more straight. So, I mean, noisy RCI planes, not my favorite, and I knew what to expect for this plane, as it is the same design then as the Aero Scout. But hey, let's do another attempt then. Oops, well, it's a little bit problem just to get this plane up in the air. Even with this 6x3 prop then, I think I just had a little bit too much of down elevator, so let's increase elevator authority then on my TX, so I have a little bit more wiggle room, and do another attempt. Really interesting just to have a new RCI plane and just try to get it up in the air. And this it's really narrow, but also nice hard gravel ground with just a little bit of grass, enough runway. So let's do another attempt then. Now it goes up fairly quick, so I had to trim down then the elevator just because it pitched up too much, but I did too much and then I couldn't really take off, and then I increased elevator throw to just max it out at 150% on my TX, because I don't believe that it's really that easy just to adjust the actual linkage, because it's kind of included in the tail section. So let's see what this plane can do now. It goes around fairly swiftly in the sky, quite easy to control. It's a little bit sluggish then, and when you just push it up and roll. So it really reminds me of the Hobbyzone Aero Scout, and this noise, I mean, it's really piercing in your ears. Just in comparison to the Aero Scout, I think this plane looks just 100% better with the colors. And if you just want to do like this, you go low, no throttle, and then just glide and then push it. I think it responds really well. Just that this noise is super annoying. So you might not purchase this plane just to be the most aerobatic RC plane, because there are just a bunch of other planes in this size that are so much more agile, especially than on the roll axis. But I think it responds well. Although I really have to push like 100% throttle just to have this plane being agile. And then I have to just accept this noisy plane. The advantage then of this plane, just if you're a beginner, you have the prop really protected just on the rear end of the wing. Really large bush wheels, the tricycle gear RC airplane, really thick nose gear also, so I don't think that it will break. So really good beginner RC plane, and especially then when you have these colors, which I think it's better than the Aero Scout. But again, if you're a beginner and you purchase this plane and you have this stock prop and you cannot really take off with this plane, well, I don't know, maybe if I would just increase, if I had increased elevator authority 150% from the beginning, then maybe it can even knife edge this plane. So it's capable, although not really too agile on any axis really. But if you purchase this plane then and you have a prop you cannot take off, maybe you will just give up, or you will try to get up in the air and just run into something on the ground. So really odd that they had this just a prop with not enough power to fly this plane. But with this three-bladed prop then it's really okay. Can go also really slow and bank steep. So it's a fairly lightweight airframe. When it's time to get it down, more or less no throttle, just flare, let it go down, keep it straight, and then you're down in a good way. So as you saw, I just tried to take off with the stock prop, but the plane couldn't really lift. It was just impossible to get this plane up in the air. And I don't know how this could be really, because when you purchase an RC airplane, surely you must have just the right prop that suits the plane and can the right motor, the right thrust and everything. And I'm running this one on a 3S 2200 milliamp battery, so there's no problem with the battery. I have the stock speed controller inside this plane also, which I think is a 30 amp. But with the stock prop then, it is just impossible to take off. Just utterly impossible to take off. So I have this master air screw, I think it's a 6x3 or 6x4 three-bladed prop. And although the blades are really thin, with this prop then I managed to get this plane up in the air. I still think that I would really need more thrust on this RC plane to fly more agile, because if you fly in the wind, it kind of struggles just when you try to do loops and such. And you really need just to push the throttle all the way to 100% if you want to do things, and it becomes really noisy. I'm not sure if this prop is less noisy than the two-bladed prop, but I mean, with the two-bladed prop I couldn't really even take off. So I don't know how that could be really. Do you design an RC airplane, you put a prop on it, and it cannot fly? What's the point then of having this kind of a construction? But with this prop then, I think that this plane flies really good if you're a beginner. Now I just increased throw on all surfaces just to have it more able and agile. But if you're a beginner, first off, I mean, the prop is protected on the rear part of the wing, really great. You have tricycle gears, which means it's much easier just to handle on the ground. Really large, soft wheels as well. This plane glides really good. It is lightweight. It is also really visible with these colors. So from a beginner standpoint, an excellent choice really. So if you just can live with the kind of the odd noise. But then if you're a beginner and you purchase this plane and you have this original stock prop on this plane and you cannot take off, what will you do? Just return the plane, I guess. So it just boggles the mind how this plane can come with this this prop then, because I just swapped prop to a freely-bladed prop, and I could take off and do some flight at least. So really odd, and I will certainly, just to come back to this plane then and discover more, and maybe just try to just swap the speed controller and use the stock prop and see if that remedies things. But for now, it's really odd. I mean, surely if you make an RS airplane, you have to make sure that it can fly, which wasn't the case with this plane.